I know you've been through some stuff, and I asked you before we started if we could dig into that.
Yeah.
Which you're okay with. So why don't you tell us where it all changed?
Yeah. So funny enough, actually, I didn't write the whole book. I was a co-author in a book that got launched in January this year, 2024. And my book was about this. And the title of the chapter was the 4 words that changed my life. And that was, I want a divorce. And that for me was when everything, to be blunt, everything overnight just crumbled. Like your whole world collapses when something like that happens. Everything that you know as reality, everything that you know to be true, everything that you're working for, your vision board, everything that you think you're going for, just suddenly overnight just falls apart. And that for me was just my whole world turning upside down and changing completely. Like the life that I'm living now as a business owner, digital nomad, traveling the world, divorced, is just a far cry from my life that couple of years ago.
And can I ask you, first of all, what's the timeline here? When did all this kind of come about?
Yeah, so it was end of September 2020. And he just announced it. I came home from the gym, and I'm a bit of a woo-woo person. I'm very intuitive. And I think I'd blocked that for a very, very long time. But I remember this so clearly. I was in my PT, I'm on the squat rack, and I just burst into tears. And I was like, something bad is going to happen today.
Really? So you felt it?
Yeah. So my PT's like, oh my God, what's going on? And I genuinely thought someone's going to die. Like it felt like the end of something. And I was like, I think someone's going to die. It was. I can't even describe it.
Yeah, talk about that feeling just a little bit more. Like in what way?
It just suddenly came over me. I was just, as I say, on the squat rack, and then I just burst into tears. And I was like, something bad is going to happen. I can't quite pinpoint it, but it feels so bad. It feels like a death, like something's going to die.
Amazing.
Didn't obviously think it was going to be
Is
my
that
marriage.
the first time that you'd felt that feeling?
Yes and no. So people always say, did you know that the divorce was coming? Because I have always wrongly been in the camp of when women or men go, this just happened and I didn't expect it. And I was naively thinking, well, how did you not know that your marriage was on the rocks? Like, how would you not know? And then it obviously happened to me, and I was like, oh my God, like I genuinely didn't see it coming. And I didn't see it coming for lots of reasons. We had holidays booked in, and, the night before he walked out on me, he kissed me on the forehead, told me he loved me, and warmed up my side of the bed. That's not signs to me that someone's going to walk out on you the next day.
Absolutely not.
But now I've got clarity, and I'm looking back, I'm like, oh, the universe was trying to tell me. There was lots of little things that now I piece together. I'm like, I just wasn't listening to my intuition. And I would, even if I voiced it, he'd shut it down, or you just put those thoughts to the back of your head. And funny enough, since actually, going off a bit of a tangent here, but since the divorce, I've been so much more open now to my intuition. And even
you trust it more.
Yeah. And even things like, my mum's sister recently passed, and we knew her life was coming to an end, and I'd encouraged my mum to go back to Japan, because I was like, your sister's going to die soon, like you need to go, and I can't explain it. So my mum trusted me. She got on the plane, and 4 days later her sister passed, so luckily she got there in time. But the night she passed, I knew, and I remember texting my dad like, she's going to die tonight. And my dad was like, how do you know? And I was like, I've got that feeling again.
So you genuinely got a gift.
It was the weirdest. Yeah. And even to the silly little things like, I went on a date, I was going to say a couple of days ago, but it's probably like a couple of months ago now. But I was going
just broke men's hearts across the country, across the world.
Well, I was going on this date, and I woke up and I thought, he's going to cancel. And I don't know why. So do you know what? Time saving tip. Didn't bother shaving my legs or doing my eyebrows, and I was like, there's no point, because he's going to cancel. And a couple of hours later I get a text saying, oh, I'm really sorry, I've got a bowel. Sorry, I'm laughing because the dog's thirsty. Dog's thirsty. Dog's got a drink.
Hope you didn't want any more water.
Hydration's important. I live in Cambodia. This is clean water, even if the dog's drinking it.
Help yourself,
but yeah, just stuff like that. I just knew. So when he texted me, I was like, yeah, cool. No, I knew that. But anyway, I've got off a tangent there. But yeah, my intuition probably was telling me that my marriage was coming to an end. I just probably was choosing to ignore it.
Because I've had, I've had obviously relationship breakdowns. Yeah. I've never been married, so I can't, I'm not comparing what I went through to what you went through. It's a completely different level. But whenever any of my relationships have ended, at least the majority of them, God, I sound like there's loads and loads that have ended. There's not that many, but it's always been to me, like, you know, like a 180 turn, you know, something massive has shifted.
Yeah.
And it's always been really, really obvious to me. So I've never really been in a situation where it's just kind of come out the blue and like, you know, bang, like a punch in the face. That must have been really, really hard to take.
Yeah.
So, you know, and another reason why I wanted you to come on and tell this story is because, you know, it's the old cliche saying, but it's true, of adversity brings opportunity, right?
Yes.
So you are a prime example of someone who's taken something, you know, which at the time and probably now still probably at some points hurts a little bit, but at the beginning would have been, you know, like a steam train, right?
Yeah.
And you could have rolled over, you could have given up, you could have accepted, you know, that you know, your life's not as it was, as you planned, as you thought it was going to be. But you made the change, right? And you shifted into a journey that started then to where you are now. So
yeah,
tell us how those steps looked and how those steps felt, more importantly. And did you know then what you was going to do? Did you immediately have a plan, or did it kind of come about over a period of time?
No, I didn't immediately have a plan, because just to make it even more complex, he actually asked for a 6-month trial separation. So he said he wanted divorced. He walked out. The next day he came back and said, "Oh, we've been a bit hasty, aren't we? It's, you know, been 10 years. Let's have a trial separation." And you'll do obviously anything to save your marriage or relationship or whatever. So obviously I agreed. And then we went back into a lockdown. So there's a whole other story there of things that he did and didn't do. And my intention is never to badmouth him, and my intention is never to paint him out to be nasty, or, you know, that I obviously know the truth, but I'm not here to kind of like share that. But that 6 months was really difficult for me, because I didn't know if he was coming back. So I didn't know if I was married. I didn't know if I was single.
And you still had the house, right?
So you're living in the house. Yeah. So do I take the wedding ring off? Do I take the pictures off the wall? Do I take his stuff out the wardrobe? Like I just did not know. So in answer to your first question, not a bloody clue. Like, because I don't know. I don't know if he's coming back or not. Now, funny enough, the intuition thing, I remember this so clearly. 16th of December, 2020, we went back into a lockdown just before Christmas. And this is when the government said, if you're single, you can bubble up for Christmas. But that last day, they announced it on the day and said, today's the last day that you can meet outside in a group of 6 or whatever with friends. So me and the girls obviously quick, you're like, last chance, get together, quick, let's go for drinks. And we went into London and I took my wedding ring off, and all my friends were like, oh, the wedding ring's off.
Big step.
And they were like, you've heard from him? And I said, no, I'm still halfway through the 6-month trial separation. I haven't heard a word from him, but I've just got a feeling. And if he does come back, we need to start afresh. Little side note, that may or may not be the day that he got with someone else. But now I'm like, that's the intuition again. Right. But at the time, I didn't realise. So no, I didn't have a clue what my plan was going to be. I didn't know if I was going to be married or not. And then obviously the day he came back, which was March 2021, and then said, we're not getting back together, I was completely lost, if I'm honest. I just did not expect to be at this stage in my life. I mean, no one goes into a marriage thinking they're going to get divorced anyway, do they? But I did not expect to be mid-30s, you know, in the middle of a lockdown, getting a divorce, and just, this is not how life was meant to be.
Right.
You know,
that wasn't the plan.
No, I've got the nice house and the nice car and the nice husband, and, you know, we were the golden couple, and it's like, what? And all that just overnight is gone. And now what do I do? And so I didn't know my plan, and it took me a while to figure it out. And I've got to be honest, I stole my plan off one of my friends.
Cool.